When it comes to nutrition, there are vast differences in the requirements for the different health types. Today, we're going to be talking about those differences for a sensor versus a connector. What we understand about a sensor is that they are a pure ectomorph. They generally have the lightest and most delicate frame, whereas a connector will have round, robust muscle, a moderate amount of fat tissue, and generally shorter in stature as well. For a sensor, the overview of their nutrition is that they have a very variable metabolism. They have very little body composition change. If they eat a lot of food, their metabolism increases to maintain their current body weight. Or if they don't have much food, their metabolism slows down so that their body weight doesn't change as well. They need a lot of regular carbohydrates, and this is because they have a very active brain and therefore need to supply plenty of fuel to their brain as well. They do very poorly with cold food or too much protein. These will cause symptoms like headaches, gut pain, and should be really monitored in order for a sensor to have their best results. It's very important that a sensor must be warm and calm to digest the best. And particularly in winter, it's even more important that the sensor has gone through the right processes to make sure that they are nice and warm and comfortable, and there's no thermoregulation problems at all. The tips for a sensor to get the most out of their meals is to have plenty of carbohydrates, whether it be juices, whether it be fruits, whether it be cooked root vegetables, whatever's at the top of their list when it comes to carbohydrates. And also, if they're going to have some protein, that everything is very, very well cooked. Not just the protein, but the vegetables, the starches should all be thoroughly cooked and in smaller portions. Regular small meals for this body is very important as they have a digestion that is not quite as strong as some of the other health types, and therefore providing less food will be very, very advantageous. So the key takeaways for a sensor is plenty of carbohydrates, some protein, everything to be really well cooked, and regular small meals to make sure they have plenty of fuel through the day. When it comes to a connector, they generally have a very stable body that's prone to inflammation. They need a moderate mix of the fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. One of the most important things to a connector is their social enjoyment and making sure that there is social enjoyment around their food. The more exercise they do, the more food they'll be able to have. And one of the most critical things for a connector is that they keep it fun, social, and interesting, or you might find that they are apt or they quit. So when it comes to tips for the connector, they really need to focus on the antioxidant requirements, whether it be vegetables, fruits, herbs, right at the top of their list. They need a moderate to higher protein intake. And if they're not doing much activity, then they can lower this protein intake. But if they're doing plenty of exercise, then we want to make sure that they've got plenty of protein coming through. And they want to reduce the carbohydrates at night. Finally, you want to make sure that if they are exercising, they can have a snack in the morning. However, if they've not been exercising in the morning, having a snack in the afternoon is going to be a better option. Generally, a snack in the afternoon is good for these guys. However, a snack in the morning is really exercise dependent. So on average, we need a moderate breakfast, a moderate lunch, and a moderate dinner with lower carbohydrates, making sure there's some regular protein coming through those main meals as well. And snacks are dependent on the exercise, all based on the individual profile that they have. So hopefully you can see the big differences between these two bodies at opposite ends of the wheel. One, a very high carb consumer. The other one needs to be a little bit more careful of those carbohydrates. One can tolerate more protein, the other needs regular small meals. These differences are very, very important for people to find their best health.